Namaste, namaste. All righty. Welcome everybody who is here. Many people will come across this on their feed that, we're going live right now with the traditional anchoring light transmission meditation. We are open here in Sarasota, Florida at the center, and following, of course, CDC guidelines, social distancing protocols. But also, too, we remain to be on Zoom. And when we go into the full transmission, and we have our chats, our vlogs here on Facebook Live, as offering an invitation for anybody who would like to be part of the Anchoring Light Transmission Meditation, that it is open to the public. If you feel so drawn to do this, all you have to do is you'll see on our Facebook feed, the Cosmic Center Spiritual Light Facebook feed, you'll see the Anchoring Light Transmission Meditation. All you have to do is click it. It'll give you the registration information. And once you register, it reminds you, every week that we have this. It's always taking place. Our time is 6:45 Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday without fail. And we have been having this Anchoring Light transmission every Monday without fail for over 14 years. So there's something to it. Well, we keep on showing back up. Of course, the divine directive came from the ascended realms of light. You may want to say the ascended masters, or there's many names for them, the Great White Brotherhood. There's so many, but they're ascended masters, and there's so many layers of them. But let's say our local ascended masters most certainly are involved in this, and we come together as the Mishadai, the family of light. And for those who are drawn to this or have a sense of this, most certainly you are part of the spiritual hierarchy. We are the boots on the ground. So there's that part of you that knows and senses that, there's so much more going on. There's some other part that I feel drawn to, and that is your soul pulse pulling you to say, you're beyond the physical five senses. You're so much more than that. And that puts us on our spiritual journey, our spiritual path, our seeking back to where we feel home, real home is. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about the Ascension, and that's going to be the topic. It was actually a topic I did speak about on Sunday at our Sunday Sabbath, which was at 10:30. And the Ascension, people say, well, what is the Ascension? What's that all about? I think we have to talk about the Ascension and the divine plan going hand in hand. There's a divine plan. And for those of you that are familiar with the work of Alice Bailey and what was known as her guide, the Tibetan Dwal Kul, there is a prayer that is sent all the time, and it talks about the plan that the masters know and serve. And this is the divine plan. So without getting into too many layers, okay, this is just sort of like a little summary, is that apparently, according to Gnostic Gospels and all really writings, ancient writings from all around the world, is that somehow we got to disconnect. Now, most certainly our planet is considered, as is, I have come to find out, the entire universe, but that's another story. Our local universe, it's so much that's out there. Let's just say that we're in the fallen group. We're kind of down here. And there's so many other ascended realms, and there's so many other realities. And so even Jesus Christ said, my Father has many mansions. There's myriads of life out there, absolutely myriads of life. So the first part of this is becoming aware that we are part of something much more greater and grander that we could even, imagine. And the second part of that is you realize that really we're interdimensional beings, that we're just in this little body wrap. And the third thing to realize is that there's a bigger and greater story. And somehow we are been drawn, although we may not understand it all, that there's something beyond. And so our goal has been to making known the unknown. It's like, I got to find out some information. I got to start seeking. I think there's something else going on. I got to check into it. And that's what's starting you on your soul journey to ascension. So basically, ascension has to do with the divine plan. In that, yes, you can have your personal ascension, absolutely, and we're all responsible, for our own personal path, but we're part of a collective. And so there's all of it just saying, not only am I just concerned about me ascending, I got to look at everybody else and be part of that contribution to bring the whole, the whole thing together, and ascend actually our beautiful planet. Our beautiful planet, of which we're very much a part of. We are here, really, most of us, because of the planet, because of our capacity to hold unconditional love, because of our capacity to say, I want to help out. Many of us, it's not all of us, people incarnate on the planet for different reasons, and most certainly for ourselves too. We learn being in a 3D reality. So there's that layer that's going on. But there's for many of us, particularly those that are resonating to these words, or the idea of a spiritual concept, that it's all one and we're connected to everything and there's not really any division, and that the divisions is and separation is all the illusion of keeping a certain agenda alive. Okay, that may not be for the highest purpose of humanity. Okay, so it's like kind of waking up to like what's really going on. So that's what brings you into your spiritual path. And as you are committed to your spiritual path, okay, things will begin to unfold. You will begin to experience, your own consciousness expansion, your own unfoldment. And as you grow and pierce through the illusions and the delusions that's in this world, or you want to say the matrix, you're contributing to the collective ascension process of the entire planet and her life. So when you make a commitment to say, I'm going to walk my path of light, I'm going to walk my path, and however that path is for you, however that is for you, as you and we all have responsibility to improve ourselves, to expand ourselves, to become more knowledgeable of ourselves, you are contributing to the collective as well. So there are many of us are saying, hey, we need to get everybody awake. Everybody needs to wake up, wake up, wake up. Because as I mentioned in the ascension process and the divine plan, why is there a plan? Well, apparently, as I mentioned before, something way beyond our little physical, dynamic here on many higher aeons, there was some sort of skew. Okay. And so let's say the service to self group, some people call them the fallen angels, different places have different names for this, but let's just say there was some sort of separation that happened. And so what we find is that there's sort of like these little demigods out there, and saying, hey, I like things the way they are. I'm top of the hill. I don't want anything to go. I'm the person in charge. And sometimes I will tell you, in some aeons, it's to the point where they even forgot that there's a higher level. They don't even know that. So that's a whole extensive story. But anyway, for us, okay, the boots on the ground crew, okay, is that we are to remember who we are as spiritual beings of light, and that we have a mission and a purpose that that's how unique only we have that puzzle piece that's needed to plug into the grand cosmic story. And so what we are doing in the ascension is service to the divine, to the supreme one, to the original origin of all life, whatever you want to call that, the divine father, divine mother, eternal father, eternal mother, the divine triplicity. Now we are a creation that is a trinity. So those threes and triangulations and triads are part of our creation, this creational world. It works with that. So we may say the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the divine Shekinah. There's different ways of looking at that. But the bottom line is that we are now ascending, piercing through the illusion and delusion of a reality that is not based in the full truth of who we are. We could say that. And so we are now waking up to say, we don't have to have a world of war and division. What's with the suffering? What's with the inequities? What's with that? What kind of loving God does that? Okay, we start to say, wait, this is not making sense. And then on your path of figuring out why it's not making sense, you come to a higher story. And then you're like, okay, now I know I have to take my position. Okay, I have to come from a place of unconditional love. I have to come from a place of not being caught up in the drama, but come from the neutral observer. I have to now remember how powerful my thoughts are. I have to remember that my words hold great power. So I got to be careful what comes out of my mouth. I have to be forgiving of myself and forgiving of everybody else. I have to now fall into alignment to my higher self that knows this and make that connection stronger. And then as we do that, we can move through this world, even though there are many people, my goodness, they are very afraid. There's a lot of fear that's out there into the world, but I can promise you that when you align yourself, okay, to this higher part of yourself, okay, you will not be operating in fear, not at all. You will be able to maintain yourself in balance. You'll be able to get the higher divine wisdom. You'll know exactly what to do. You'll know that you are divinely protected always and divinely guided. Is it worth to walk in this path of light? You bet it is. And if there's any time now in the history of the world that we should walk the path of righteousness, this would be the time. This would definitely be the time. So this decade, is a very important decade. There's a lot of things, and the only consistent thing about life we have come to know is change. And so change will come. Change is inevitable because no matter what, the ascension and the evolution of life is going to happen. And as Bob Marley says, you can't stop the tide. So I suggest you just get on your surfboard and go with the tide into this ascension wave. The more you align yourself with it, the better it is, the more peace you have, and the more you can do in the world. So that's it for, okay, hi, Anita. So that's it for now. That's what I wanted to talk a little bit about the ascension. You are part of the divine plan. You are here to bring and anchor light to the planet and to pierce through the illusion and the delusion of the world of Maya and break free of that. And so we can end the imbalances, the power grabs, we know what's going on in the world that is not serving humanity. We can stop the anti-human agenda. We have the power to do it, and that's why we're remembering who we are and what we're here to do. And when we come together as a tribe of light together, we are powerful. So with that, I'm going to say namaste to our Facebook Live family of light. And again, you can join us at any time just by registering for the Anchoring Light. And we have a beautiful little group prayer right now in person, and we're going to get started now. Namaste.